All right, guys, good morning. I have left my tripod at work, but I'm still going to try to record this one-handed. This is a 2017 Ford Escape with the 1.5 EcoBoost motor in. It has a dead miss on cylinder 2. So it's most likely going to be an ignition coil. I'll show you how to tell if you want to go through the effort, but honestly, a set of coils and plugs is probably what you're going to need. This has 158,000 miles on it. I put a link down in the description where you can buy good quality coils and plugs off Amazon. And yeah, let's get to it. First thing I'm going to do is just pop this engine cover off. And once that's off, these white plastic tabs, they all just slide up. And then, I don't know if you can hear that. Once you hear that click, you can just pop them off. There we go. All 4 ignition coils are on plug. Now I got my handy dandy Ratchet. And I'll tell you what, again, this is like 75 bucks, 75 bucks on Amazon with 2 batteries and a charger. This thing is awesome. I've had it for about 6.5 months probably so far. Now to get the coils out, it's all 8mm. Alright, so I got the 4 coil bolts off. I am now going to collect them. Now normally what you do if I was diagging this, you swap, it says cylinder 2 misfire, I'd swap the number 1, number 2 cylinder, see if the misfire follows. But as inexpensive as these coils are off Amazon, it's got 158,000 miles. We're just going to do all 4 of them. Oh, and I just noticed there's another set of bolts. I keep forgetting that these Fords have a very odd coil setup. They kind of go down in an angle. All right. So now we got all the coil bolts off. All right, so I got all 8 coil bolts out. First thing I'm going to do is, since the misfire is on number 2, I'm just going to get rid of that plug. That coil, toss it to the side. They're original Ford coils. And you see what I mean, how the boot goes in caddy corner. You got to pay attention to that when you take the spark plugs out, because you can't put the spark plug socket in straight up and down like you normally would. So yeah, this one I'm going to toss off to the side so I don't get it mixed up. And then the rest I'm going to pull off and sit up here. Now I'm going to grab my socket and extension wire. I believe these are a 14mm 12 point if I remember correctly. Alright guys, it is a 14mm, not a 12 point. Alright guys, so I got all the spark plugs out. And you can see they're in pretty bad shape. Now this was the number 2 one, and this one concerns me. And I'm assuming what happened is it was misfiring, and it got a whole bunch of carbon built up on there. And when I went to take it out, it just took some of the threads out with it. I went real slow. You can see it's wet. I used penetrating oil. I just kept loosening and tightening it, loosening and tightening it, loosening and tightening it, till it finally came out. So hopefully it doesn't give me any problems getting that back in. All right, I got the new spark plugs. The first thing you want to do is line them up like that and make sure that the depth is the same. The last thing you want to do is put too long or especially too long of a spark plug in. Now these are 14mm, but I don't have a magnetic 14mm socket with me, so I'm going to use a 9/16 to at least get it started. And I'll put a link in the description for these tools too, because a magnetic 14 millimeter spark plug socket is kind of not a very common size. All right, that's number 4 plug in, or started anyway. I'm doing the number 3 spark plug. A little worried about coming up to the number 2 plug, because that was the one that was pretty stripped in. Okay, well, I got it started. And this socket, like I said, it's 9/16, so it's not 14 millimeter. So it's a little, and it's a little on the long side. So I'm literally just using it for the magnetic part to get it started. All right, so now that I got it started, I got my thin wall 14. You need to have a thinner wall socket. You can't use a standard socket. It won't fit down in the hole. Now this little impact gun, or not impact, this little ratchet has 45 foot-pounds of torque. And I checked it months ago. It seems to be pretty accurate. Now that one, the one that came out hard, I'm going to thread in here by hand. Unless it goes in real easy, then I'll use that, but I don't think it will. Yeah, it is most definitely not going to go in easy. So I'm going to stop the video here real quick. All right, so the number 2 spark plug went in fairly easy. I didn't have to really crank down on it at all, which makes me happy. It means the threads will be okay. So now I'm going to put the coils in. You want to orient them with the angle going that way towards the passenger side of the car. And when you think it's in, just give it a little tug. If it is actually in the spark plug, or latched onto the spark plug, you'll meet some resistance and it won't really come off. I'm going to need 2 hands to get this last coil in right here that's under these lines. All right, guys, so I got all the coils in. Now I got to put the 8 bolts back in for the coils. Start them a turn or 2. Make sure they're not cross-threaded. Okay, so I got all 8 of them put back in. Just going to tighten down these coil boots. And you don't have to use an electric ratchet to do these, but they sure does make your life easier. And once all of them are in, I'm just gonna push these in. Let me show you a little better. You literally push and then slide that white part in, give it a little tug, make sure it's latched in, and then you're good. And that is how you do plugs and coils on a 2017 Escape with the 1.5. I got to put the engine cover back on. But before I do that, I'm going to do an oil change on it. Like I said, links are in the descriptions for the weird 14 millimeter magnetic plug socket you need, and the spark plugs that you need for the job. And I'll put a link in the description for my little 3/8 ratchet that I love so much too. I hope you guys liked the video. Please subscribe to help support the channel. Thank you.